Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk Corvus Cabal and Age of Sigmar Warcry, and we're going to talk about the Warcry updates for the Corvus Cabal. Now we're a little bit behind on these. I'm going to be going through and doing all the older ones as we've done the Idenef Deepkin and the Gloomspite Gits ones that have come out as well, and there's a couple of others that have come out. We'll go back and do these, and then we'll keep up to date in the future on all the other ones. But the Corvus Cabal came out in issue 483 of White Dwarf with some updates for them, with some additional quests, background, trophies, and heroic traits for your characters, along with a new encampment location and stuff like that. And we're going to go through all the rules, talk a little bit about them, and what they bring to the table for the Corvus Cabal. Now, with this as well, if you're looking for this White Dwarf, it's pretty easy to spot. This is the bright yellow White Dwarf with the Leagues of Votann on front. So let's get cracking in and let's talk about what we have inside this White Dwarf for the Corvus Cabal in Age of Sigmar Warcry. Alright, and so here we have our first quest, and we also have the lesser artifacts as well, because they do relate to this particular quest. Now, this quest is called Spoils of the Fallen. How it works, you pick one artifact of power from the Carrion Trophies, the list that's on this page of your lesser artifacts, and note it down on your quest log. You can't pick one that's already borne by a fighter in your warband. Standard sort of stuff. While embarked upon this quest, you need to keep track of your progress for your warband mates, represented by a progress score. Each time an enemy fighter is taken down by a friendly fighter's melee attack action, you add one to your progress score of the quest if that enemy fighter was carrying treasure, and you add one to your progress score as well if a fighter was bearing a lesser and or artifact of power. So pretty much you're trying to get your opponents that have things with them. You also add one to your progress score if you win a battle, which is pretty standard. Now, you complete this quest once the progress score is 3, which is pretty low, but you have got a lot of restrictions. You are needing to go after very particular characters, and you are needing to win games. I think this is definitely one of the harder quests I think seen, but, you know, a nice low score is nice. You could easily pick this later in the campaign and rack it up in a game if you're wanting to. As you're going later in the campaign, I think you could definitely sort of rack this up pretty quick. Be something that would take a little bit of a while where your opponent's not really got anything, and unless you're playing scenarios that have actual treasure, you know, if you're playing the random, like, cards come out, you know, it could just not be for you. But even then, it could require just 3 battles winning. But let's talk about the Carrion Trophies. There are 6 of them in total, and I think there's some really good ones in here. The first one, Amulet of Stolen Sight. Each critical hit from missile attack actions that target the bearer become normal hits instead. This is just really super solid. Like, this stops a lot of the shooting power that can be in, with shooting definitely taking a hit with the combat rules and stuff like that. I think this is a nice little trophy to have. Carrion Curious is really nice. This is super, like, on theme. First of all, +1 toughness is just nice, especially on Corvus Cabal, who really aren't that tough. You've got a ton of 3 in your party for toughness, and the bearer also never suffers impact damage. This is awesome. This could be really cool on, like, your Shrike Talon, jumping off of buildings and hitting people with his ability, not taking the impact damage. If you have a Shrike Talon, you can get this on him. I think that would be ace. The Heart File is a little healing. Once per battle, you roll 2 dice, which this is pretty cool. You remove a number of damage points allocated to the bearer equal to the highest result. I like this. I like that you get 2 chances with it. You got 2 dice, you pick the highest one. Yes, you could roll a double 1 or a double 2, but you could roll, you know, a 6 and a 1. I think this makes the artifact, it makes that one use ability nice. And it also adds +1 to your attacks until the end of the activation. So this is pretty cool if you're actually sort of getting taken down in combat, want to do a little bit of healing, and then actually get some extra attacks from it as well. Mask of the Gatherer. At the start of the first battle round, you pick an enemy fighter on the battlefield to be your chosen trophy. When your chosen trophy is taken down by the bearer of this artifact with a melee attack action or ability. Ability is really cool because you do have some cool abilities in the faction here that can do some damage. You add to your attacks until the end of the battle. Plundered Relic. When you set up your fighter for the first time in the battle, you pick one of the following. Either add one to your move or add one to your toughness. This is cool because it's when you set up the fighter. So if this fighter is in your later warbands, you can really use this to sort of dictate what you need. Do you need a toughness 4 fighter on the table? Or do you need someone who's faster? I think that's a really useful sort of little relic there. And lastly, Tangling Tendons. Enemy fighters within 3 inches of the bearer cannot make reactions during the bearer's activation. Solid. This can, you know, tag a bunch of enemies, stop a ton of different abilities being able to work. I think there's definitely some super good ones in here. Carrying Curious, like I said, if you can get that on a Shrike Talent, I think for me, that is the one. Amulet of Stolen Sight's really nice. Tangling Tendons is really good as well. And fun enough, I really like the Plundered Relic. I like the usefulness of it being able to give extra move or extra toughness later in the game, depending on what you need. And so we have a second quest inside the book. This one is a gift for the Gatherer. Now, how this one works is you pick a Shadow Piercer in your warband, and that can gain a heroic trait. And note them down in your quest log. If you're looking at how you can tell which Shadow Piercer can gain a heroic trait, you simply go to page 104 of the core rulebook, and that'll take you through everything. Now, while embarked upon this quest, you can keep track of your offerings your Shadow Piercer collects, represented by an offering score. You add 1 to your offering score each time an enemy fighter is taken down by the Shadow Piercer's melee attack actions, or you send forth the Shadow Piercer in the end steps of the game. Now, you can complete this quest once your offering score is 6 or more, and when you complete the quest, you can pick 1 Shadow Piercer from your force that you've already chosen, and they gain 1 of the heroic traits from the Corvus Cabal heroic traits table, which we'll talk about now. Now, you have 6 different traits you can pick from this table. First of all, False Flight. After this fighter makes a move action in which the fighter jumped, if the fighter can make a bonus move action up to the number of inches equal to the distance they moved vertically downwards in that jump. So you effectively drop down and then move forward. It's pretty cool. Solid. Inhumane Hunger. After this fighter's activation, if an enemy fighter was taken down by a melee attack action from them, this fighter can use Inspiring Presence without spending a triple, and even if they've already used an ability other than Inspiring Presence in that activation. I really like this. This is super cool. Like being able to, inspire someone straight after is super cool, and get another activation straight after, especially after you've already killed someone. This can be great for taking out like 2 opponents. Macabre Insight. After the fighter's activation, if an enemy fighter was taken down by the fighter's melee attack action, you get an additional wild dust you can use from the start of the next initiative phase. Solid. Plucking Talons. After this fighter's melee attack action, if at least one of the attack activation results in a critical hit, the target forfeits 1 of their actions in the battle round. If they have no actions left or they have already activated, they simply will take 5 damage instead. Savage Finisher. Melee attack actions made by this fighter score a critical hit on a 5+ when they target a fighter that has 5 or more damage points allocated to them. And Trophy Gatherer. At the start of the combat phase, if the fighter's on the battlefield, you can do one of the following. And this is probably my favourite one. First of all, increase the value of one of your doubles by 2. You can choose to improve one of your doubles to a triple of the same value, or decrease the value of one of your opponent's doubles by 2. I think, for me, Trophy Gatherer is definitely the one I like the most. Corvus Cabal are really fast though, so False Flight I think is just, putting good money after already good money, so it's definitely something worth it. I like the idea of Plucking Talons. You can either stop your opponent being able to do with a little bit of control, or simply just do damage to them. Crits on 5+, especially when you're only having to deal 5 damage and you do have a force that has the ability to do some range damage, is pretty nice on Savage Finisher, but I do think the best one here by far is Trophy Gatherer. And so then our last of the 3 brand new quests is called Seeking the Eerie. This is all about getting our new territory and getting a new encampment location for our Corvus Cabal. Now, Seeking the Eerie is pretty simple. While embarked upon the quest, you must keep track of your higher ground score, and you add 1 to your higher ground score at the end of any battle round if a friendly fighter is further from the battlefield floor than each enemy fighter. While your higher ground score totals 8 or more, you can fight using the Death Descends quest battle plan, which you can find inside the White Dwarf. And if you do so and you win the battle in step 4 of the Aftermath sequence, you complete the quest. And if you do so in step 5 of the Aftermath sequence, you can relocate your warband's encampment to the Consecrated Eerie, and you do not need to spend any glory to do so. Now, said Consecrated Eerie, this has a points limit of 1,150 and then a reputation modifier of +3. Location, bonus-wise, we get +1 to renown rolls for fighters from your warband with a hero rune mark. And in addition, in step 5 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick up to 3 fighters from your warband and send them forth from the Eerie. To do so, you roll a dice for each of these fighters. On a 1, you make an injury roll for them, like standard. And on a 2+, you roll once on the lesser artifacts table of the Nullwood. And if the results are consumable, you do get to keep the artifact. Otherwise, you don't get to keep the artifact, but you do gain 1 renown. All in all, I think this is a really fun update for the Corvus Cabal. You definitely have, maybe the book here is telling you in the wrong way. I think you're probably going to be looking for Spoils of the Fallen to begin with, but that definitely is something you can use really easily later. Seeking the Eerie, I think, is really solid. For me, once you've got that, then I'd start looking for a Gift of the Gatherer. I think this just makes, a lot easier going forth, and it's probably the better way to do them. I'd be looking to get that eerie nice and quick. But what are your thoughts on the Corvus Cabal updates? Let us know down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also drop a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon, YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch from either our Ko-fi or Teespring stores. All of those things are linked down in the video's description. As a special thank you to everyone who does support us via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Pure Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, Daniel Everington, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty Stabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, Dylan Marino, Gargamel 196, and Disco. Thank you all so much for your support, and special shout out to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who helps run the channel, whether that be on the Discord server as our mods, on our live stream mods, or the guys that come around and help provide the battle reports for you all to watch. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.